Hi and welcome. I'm Caroline Best of the Dow of Horsemanship. We've got Sundance here, my 19-year-old quarter horse mare. And today we're going to be doing kind of a part 2 to my free lunging video. This is how to develop smooth and fluid canter departs in your horse, especially for riding. And we're going to be starting it by means of the lunge method of mine. So we're not going to produce this or develop this when we ride the horse. We're going to develop it on the ground first. So if you're looking to enhance or change or develop your horse's canter or all of their gaits and the fluidity and the ease of the transitions within the gaits, I highly recommend this video. And I highly recommend that you learn the actual how-to, all of the steps to developing this, which is in my Mastery membership program. So Sundance and Lovey, both my mares, are going to be helping us today. Sundance they're both schoolmasters, but at different levels. Sundance is going to be showing you probably better canter departs, very fluid, easy from a walk or a trot right into the canter, whereas Lovey, who's 10 this year, she'll be able to show you a better shoulder in than Sundance. So we're going to talk about these different things, these different areas during this video and why they're so important. So let me go ahead and grab a lunge whip, as you're going to need a lunge whip. Come on, babe girl. And I'm going to actually take your halter off and grab Lovey. Lovey's already waiting. Come here, sweet girl. Look at her. Isn't that cool, Sabrina? She was over at the hay manger, and as soon as I said we're going to be working with Lovey, this is the way my work works, you guys. It's magic. It's called the power of your heart and your mind. Hi, sweetheart. So Lovey's my 10-year-old thoroughbred. She never raced. She spent her first year, though, in training for the track, and she wasn't fast enough. And you'll see why when you watch her movement. She's got a nice dish in her face, an Arabian dish. So her thoroughbred bloodlines, somewhere along the line, is very strong with the Arab descent and in line bloodlines. And when she moves, she floats. So it cracks me up that a breeder or trainer would even think this horse could make a good racehorse, because she spends too much of her time in the air. So her name, we renamed her Lovey, because she is such a love. And Lovey is going to do a really good job showing you online. Of course, I only have a 12-foot lunge line here. And I'm 5'8", so this whip is about 5'4". So you need both of these tools. That's all you need. A nice soft marine quality rope halter, good girl, and lead rope, and a lunge whip, because this lunge whip is a tool right now that's going to help me guide her body, shape her body and guide her body. So unlike the previous video where we were free lunging in the round pen, which is where I begin with every horse, that's the first lunging style and format, we are now going to put our more developed horse both in balance and in strength because of the free lunge. We are now going to take the horse that's more developed. We don't do this in the very beginning when we're teaching a horse to lunge. Okay, I don't work on this close 12-foot line in the beginning. And the reason is it's too small of a circle, and your horse really needs the big 50 to 70 diameter round pen space to work on their straightness and their strength and their balance before you start to use a smaller circle and work on a smaller circle at this level, okay? At this level. There's a lot of in-hand stuff you can do, and there's a lot of stuff you can do in-hand on a small circle, but as far as lunging, I don't at all recommend that you start out this way. This is a continuation of my lunging style and basically a part 2. I just am showing you guys where my lunging methods lead. And they are much more complicated and layered than what you're going to see in this video. But they are offered in my Mastery Membership program, my online program, the whole step-by-step. So we're going to pick a space. This is this little riding area here with the 4 corners marks off a 20 meter circle, so to speak. And we're going to work in the middle over here. Yeah, on about a 10 meter circle. Hey, sweet girl. I know. And what I want to show you specifically in this lunging style is the shoulder in on the lunge. So in the previous video, we did the straightness training and to really create strength and balance and self-carriage, meaning Sundance was free. She wasn't tied down. I wasn't forcing her into a frame. She was free in the round pen. And you'll take as many weeks or months needed to perfect the free lunge at the walk and trot before I even ask for the canter. And perfecting it means the horse is totally relaxed mentally and physically. And Lovey's going to show you some of that here online. And that relaxation in the previous video was where Sundance's nose was almost to the ground. She was stretching longitudinally across the top line. Her back was open and free. Her poll was open and free. And that allowed her hind end to come to stretch more. It's Pilates for horses, my free lunge, to stretch more and come underneath of her. And when the hind end stretches more like that, that's what helps to create strength and balance and self-carriage, because now the horse is carrying their own weight. You're not carrying them, or your tools or equipment are not carrying them. So that's the first style, and where I begin with each and every horse. And like I said, I primarily work on the the gait of the walk in the transitions and the gait of the trot in the transitions. I don't really work at the canter during my free lunge. We will now work on the canter online, because for me to be able to teach horses the simple lead changes and flying lead changes, which I teach on the ground first, they need to master this shoulder in, and they need to master it at the walk, the gait of the walk. They need to master it at the trot, and then that is what effortlessly, organically develops the body and the mind so that the horse can come way underneath themselves again and pick themselves up into a smooth and fluid canter. So we'll do our best. She's still learning, while her body is more advanced than Lovey's mind. So Lovey is amazingly talented and balanced right now, but she can self-implode. She can get a little worked up still, and so she may not be the best candidate to show the canter, but we'll show you where it all begins. And a lot of that self-implosion, so to speak, is just because it's still a trigger for her. They totally ruined her at the track. Her owner called me actually and sent me a picture of her. It's a shame. She was just 2 and was going to be put down. She was ruined. And he told me that. He's like, look, I heard about you rescuing thoroughbreds off the track through the vet here, and please take my girl. She's so sweet. If you don't take her, she's going to be put down. They ruined her. So what did I do? And of course she was emaciated at the time, totally emaciated. She looked awful. She has these big donkey ears. Yeah, I took her, and she is a dream. One of my soulmates. So the first thing we're going to do is back her up. Yep, away from us so we can get, come on, love bug. I don't want you going yet. I just need you to back up. Thank you. So we want your horse at least the distance of this whip from your belly to their nose. So that's about 5+ feet. All right. Like I said, this particular lunge is more advanced. I absolutely do not recommend you beginning here. Okay? So I'm going to send her out to my right. I'm going to stay still in the middle and pivot. And you're going to see me create a V between the whip and my left hand and my right hand. So the whip, my energy is asking her, my own internal energy is asking her, oh, Joey's laying down behind us, I love it, is asking her to pick up the walk. But I have the whip here quietly if I need to. I will use it to help guide the body. Good girl. Good. So the shoulder in is when she's going to bring her shoulder in and arc in like she is right now. She's going to look at me more with her right eye. Good girl. And while she's going forward, and believe me, this takes some time to master, you guys. While my whip is going to be pushing that inside hind leg, which is her right hind, further underneath of her. So basically, what you're looking at, and I'll do a demonstration with my body, it'll be easier, trust me, is you are me. The camera person is me and I'm the horse. When your horse is connected to you like this through my method, my work, where they're focused on you, they can mirror the embodiment of energy, the rhythm that I'm counting the footfall, 1, 2, 3, 4, so she can feel that, and that's the way I teach riding. So we're all connected, we're where we need to be. So now she's going to be looking at me. So if you do this in your own body, you will feel what happens in your horse's body, which is very important. It's a huge aha moment for everyone that I teach like this. So if you're just going straight, this is straight, right? If you're walking and you're the horse and you don't do a shoulder in or arc your body when you look at your person in the center, you end up leaning on that inside fore and then leaning on the inside hind. We don't want leaning, that's not straight. And we don't want a horse dropping their weight to the inside. So that's why the straightness training is so important at the free lunge. And again, it's a commitment, it takes time. You can't rush that. Start at the walk. And again, it's like Pilates for horses. You are lengthening and strengthening that horse's stride and top line. And then when you understand what correctness looks like at the walk and your horse moving correctly, which you get a visual with Sundance in that video, you work on the trot. And that's it. Now you're going to work on the shoulder in lunge at the walk, trot, and the canter. So she's got enough development to go straight now. Enough strength and balance in self-carriage through the free lunge. So now we're ready to tackle the shoulder in and do it correctly. So I'm setting you up for success, you guys. So now the shoulder in becomes, I'm the horse and I'm looking at my person, which is you, the camera, because you've got me standing still and we've got this connection. I'm asking you now to look at me. You notice I'm not pulling on Lovey. This won't work if you pull on your horse. If you pull on your horse's nose with the lead rope, you're gonna make them drop a shoulder. You can't do this level of lunging unless you have the first level, which is the free lunge, and unless you have this level of connection. So my horse is now going around me. Now I want you to bend your rib cage like I am, and I want you to look at the camera, which is your horse looking at you and being connected. The minute I look at you and turn my shoulder in, I now lift weight off of my inside fore, my inside front leg, transfer the weight to the outside hind and the outside fore. That allows me, again, to lift the shoulder and to get my inside hind the access to stretch and come way underneath of me. And when I do that, I actually can feel my abdomen like a belly crunch. And so my abdomen now is contracting as my leg is stretching almost vertically underneath of me, not straight, but vertically. So this is what's going to help you create these smooth canter departs. So now when we go back to the work with Lovey, I want you to study the movement more. Now that I've defined it better and broken it down through my body, I want you to look at Lovey's body, because in order for a horse to do a really fluid, smooth canter, they've got to be able to come well underneath of themselves with their hind end so that they can lift their front end. And then all of their balance is captured and caught and maintained through their hind end. So what makes a horrible canter is when the horse is on their forehand. And horses by nature are heavier in the front end, by nature. And so some bloodlines and breeds are developed so that the horse is naturally more on the hind end, but for most of us, especially our quarter horses, they're more on the forehand. And so when a horse is rushed into a canter, not properly developed, it feels like this. And they're just plowing themselves, as I call it, into the ground and pulling you down into that movement. Instead, you want to be like the centaur, and you want to ride that movement that picks you up and lifts you up. And so if I'm the horse, and this is the front angle of, you just stay there, Sabrina, this is what it's going to look like if I'm looking at my person and I'm connected to my person in the middle of my circle. I am going to be bending like this, and then my inside leg is going to be able to reach more vertically, laterally underneath of me. Because when a horse picks up a canter, they strike off with the outside hind and they capture their balance with the inside hind. And when it's done correctly, that's what it feels like in your body. You're so connected to the hind end. Most people never get to experience that because you just don't have horses that are properly developed, and you've never ridden that kind of movement. You've never ridden, hi sweet girl, correct movement, which I highly recommend, so that you get that feel of what it should look like. Okay, so we're going to show Lovey at the walk. Thank you, sweetheart. Let me get you off your rope. Good girl. And you guys are going to study her movement. I'll keep talking so that you can, good girl, come. And remember, we're basically on not even using 12 feet of this lead rope. We're using 10. I'm going to use the whip to push her body out rhythmically. Drive it out. Good girl. Feed the rope through my hand a little bit. Let's get our walk first. Get your straight walk. Get your big walk. Get your energy. Good. So remember, the Pilates aspect can only happen if your horse is lengthening their stride. So we can't have a real short, lazy walk here. All right? It's all about stretching, you guys. So you need a big walk. Good girl. Big walk, maybe a cluck. Good girl. So once I have the rhythm that I want, I'll work on the shoulder in. That's the second phase. Good girl. Ah, you're such an overachiever. So it's not about pulling your horse's nose in. The reason why Lovey keeps looking at me is my energy has shifted. I know, it's what I teach, both in my mind and in my heart. Good. So that's that strong connection that makes her want to gravitate towards it and stay close. So this won't work unless you have that first, that piece. Good girl. So we want to keep the rhythm and the regularity of the walk, and we want her arced in more. Good girl. Good girl. When you begin this, you may only be able to get 3 strides before it falls to pieces. And like I said, this video is not a necessary, it's not a how-to, you guys. When you start this, the shoulder in is a very grueling upper level gymnastic movement for the horse. And I do not recommend you doing more than 3 strides of the shoulder in and then sending your horse straight again. Let them relax. Hey, Lele. Thank you. I know, Ledge, I can't have you right here. Was he playing in the water? He's completely drenched. Did we get that on camera too?
She was standing in front of it.
Oh my God, wait, we gotta look at this. Come here, Lovey. So that's what you were looking at? Look how wet he is. He was playing in the water trough. Oh my gosh. Our horses are too happy. Sundance was probably thinking about it, but she knows I need her for the video. Come on, love. Possibly. Come. All right, so we'll just change sides. Going out. Good. Good girl. Good. So here's your shoulder in. Got slack in my rope. I'm pushing her inside hind leg with the whip underneath of her, more forward and more crossing over, like I'm doing with my leg. Good girl. Lovey's an overachiever, high work ethic, so she's very attentive and overly responsive. She's a pleaser. So you've got to go slow with these horses, you guys. You can ruin them. They try so hard. Good girl. Good. So it can be anywhere. Let's get a little bit more of, nope. All right, well, let's do the trot then. You're good. Good girl. Come. That might be easier. Let's get a little bit more of that shoulder in. So I'm going to ask for the trot. Good. And Lovey's really good at stretching and putting her nose to the ground, which is what we have worked on. So we'll let her go straight. This would be your straightness lunge online, but this is what we create through the free lunging. Because Lovey's so balanced and has such great strength, she can do this on a small circle, on a 10-foot rope right now, without falling in. Good girl. So now I'm gonna take the straightness away and ask her for the shoulder in. So I'm gonna change my body position, my energy, and my use of my tools. So I will pull her nose in a little bit and push her body out. Good, so her shoulder is gonna come in on the circle, not her haunches. Her haunches can go out more, you guys. All right? Good. So you'll start to see her abdomen muscle contracting, which is excellent. You'll start to see, look at the muscling on her top line. All my horses look fantastic because of this method. You can see a division in her hindquarters, down her spine, and she's a thoroughbred. 16-2. Hands. Come. Good. Come. So she's already in self-carriage. She naturally will break at the pole, get her nose on the vertical. This is done all natural and organic. You don't need to put a horse in a frame. You don't ride them in a frame. When you ride this, she'll be able to carry herself, and if she loses her balance, you can help her rebalance and then set her up. Come. So I'm going to ask her, I'm going to see if she can handle a canter. So we're going to push that inside hind leg. Good, good. And there's our shoulder in at a canter. Good. Come. Come. Good. On less than a 10-meter circle. And that was pretty fluid and pretty nice transition down to the trot and the walk. Come. Nope, we're going to keep walking. Good. Good girl. So I'm going to show that again in a different direction. Good. Push that shoulder out. Good. Let her go straight for a little bit. Let her relax. So the reason why you hear her breathing, if you hear her breathing, is because she's using her ab muscle. You'll hear that in just about all horses when they're using their abdomen correctly and developing correctly, both during your lunging and your riding. Good girl. So we're going to ask for the trot again. Good. And the shoulder in. Good girl. So you'll use your whip. Good. That's a beautiful shoulder in. Good. Really get her stretching. Really get her lengthening. Nope. I need you not straight, baby. Good. Good. So again, when you're first starting this, you only want 3 strides of shoulder in. That was a nice canter. Do you see how effortless that is and how much she gets her hind legs underneath her belly, lifts her shoulder, and then we'll go back down to a T-R-O-T and then a W-A-L-K. If she can. Good. Good girl. So that's it in a nutshell. That would be my shoulder in at the lunge. It is the second level of my lunging. We do not begin here, as you can see. I've worked with over 2,000 horses in my short career. Not one has ever been lame by the way I work. And for horses that have physical challenges like hock issues or stifle issues, locking patella or locking up, you can do this type of work, both the free lunge and the shoulder in, just at the walk, at the gate of the walk. But you really want the Pilates in that walk. You really want them stretching and lengthening their stride. And that's going to build tremendous strength just at the walk and balance. And then you're not overtaxing or stressing the rest of the body if the horse, isn't physically capable of trot work or mentally ready for the trot work. So great, I'm glad Lovey could show that. It's very good. Thank you, sweetheart. Maybe we'll be able to do a simple lead change. I'll show you guys where this goes. Now, I have to forewarn you that we haven't trained in a year. Yep, that's right. You don't need to. Once your horse has a foundation, trust me guys, they don't forget a thing, and they carry their bodies this way for the rest of their life out in the pasture all the time. It is amazing. They're smart, and they realize that this work feels better. Feels better emotionally through the chemical release of endorphin, and it's good girl, and it feels better physically. So yeah, when Lovey's out there playing with the herd, she trots like this, guys. And she canters like you saw. Good. So we're going to ask her into the canter. Good girl. One, nope, I don't want to play. 1, 2, and lift up. Now you guys see where it leads, right? She wants to play. So this is where you take a figure 8, a change of direction. She's got to be cantering in though, and lift up. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? How you can teach your horse to pick up the correct lead every time. Good girl, and up. Good. I knew that was going to happen. She's waiting to play, sorry. She just loves to play so much, and I had to let go of the rope or I probably would have gotten stung by the end of it. Yes, you are a firecracker. Yeah, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. But yeah, if I wanted, and I will continue my training, I say that every month, don't I? Hopefully this month. But it would take probably about 2 weeks of putting her back into this cycle mentally and physically, get her back into shape, get her a little more in control mentally, and then we can finesse our simple changes and our flying changes. Come, go on, you can leave. I don't need you anymore. Thank you. Good girl. Yep, there she goes. Well, hello, boys. So look at Lovey run now. See, I told you. Isn't that pretty? You won't see a hollowed out, high-headed horse around here. Nope. Everybody knows how to relax their top lines and come well underneath themselves. It makes for a phenomenal ride, you guys. Thank you. May you always be one with your horse.